Hello, viewers. Welcome again to another episode of Opinions. Today, we will be talking about the situation that we have currently in the community and the problems, the difficulties that so many people have been facing due to this situation. We'll be talking about COVID-19. But before I go on that, I would like to introduce myself and to introduce the discussants for today's Opinions episode. My name is Tola Shijayoba, and with me in the studio
is Ajibola Odu. Yeah, Ajibola Odu.
And my name is Uche Nwafo.
And
my name is Ati.
And I'm Ngozi Ochuba.
Thank you. I'm using this opportunity to say welcome to Opinions. Like we all know the situation that we are facing at the moment, which is the coronavirus issue. We'd like us to quickly, because we'll be having different messages, different information regarding the virus. If you don't mind, if I start from Jibola, can you quickly tell us about what do you know about this virus? Like how it started, where it started from, and everything that you can say you really know about this situation.
Coronavirus or COVID-19 is reported to have started in Wuhan in China sometime in November 2019. Some say it originated from the animal market, where they do point and kill bats and all the other rodents. Some said it's from a lab. Nobody seems to know the truth. The WHO finally declared it a pandemic in February 2020. Then it has spread to about 126 countries.
Okay. Right
now, it's ravaging all over the world. I think of all the countries now, America is worst hit. It's over 18,000 people dead. From my own understanding of this, it can be transmitted or contracted by talking, coughing, sneezing, or touching any person who's been contaminated, who is positive, or who has been exposed to this. And a lot of people have prescribed so many precautions. But like Ngozi said earlier, we don't really know the A to Z of this thing. So because so it was Ati who said so. It's a novel virus, so science is behind on this one. They are second guessing it, and that is why it's mutating. I understand that it has up to 4 or 5 variants now from the virus. It's mutated from the one affecting America to the one that affected Wuhan, to the one in Australia, to the one in Africa, to the one in Southeast Asia. I think of all the countries in the world, it's only New Zealand that has claimed to have controlled or been able to control the COVID-19 as of last week. They've only had, I think, 1 or 2 deaths.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Ngozi, please, there's this thing that we want you to quickly talk about, which is the problems we have at the moment regarding the social media messages. We do receive different messages every time. More than 100 messages every day regarding coronavirus. And the problem I think we are having with some of the majority of these messages is sometimes you get some messages that will tell you, put you, they send you to a different direction, and you still have another message on the same issue that will take you to another direction. What do you have to say to this about this?
Like Jibola said earlier, there are different strands of this virus. And then when you look at the information that we're getting online, some people will give you their own personal opinions. Some people will give you opinions of other people that have been passed down to them. They add theirs and they pass it down to you. And then when we look at the effect it has on so many people's mental health, people forget that when they're sending messages like this, it's affecting people's anxiety. The fact that people are already inside, they are getting this bad and negative news about this virus is making people more depressed. Another thing is, you look at the religious aspect of it. People are now coming out to make this conclusion that it's like the wrath of God. God has sent the pandemic to punish people for their wrongdoing. You know, it's so many information that we're being bombarded with. And the truth of the matter is, we do not really have 100% information about this virus. I was reading something the other day, someone said it was a DNA strand. Another person sent something else to me, and they also said it was an RNA strand. You know, you then don't know which one you're going to follow. Is it a DNA strand? Is it an RNA strand? Yeah. You know, aside from that, we really don't have much information. I remember when it first started, they said, oh, it doesn't survive in hot climates. You know, a lot of in hot climate. All of a sudden, there was a new strand that was able to survive in temperate climate. Then it changed the game out there. I feel like what we should do, and the news is not helping as well, not just social media. News, the news is not helping. Every day you turn on, like, whatever it is we're listening to is negative, you know? And you know, sometimes when you listen to negativity so much, it kind of like tends to start affecting you if you're not careful. So I think one of the things we need to take out of this is that we need to be careful. It doesn't affect us, because at the end of the day, you are human. I was reading something on one of the social media websites, and they were talking about how people, like the rate at which people have been having nightmares increased, because it's like every day you're hearing, oh, 10,000 people have died, 5,000 people have died, we're locked down for another 2 months. Then processing this, even in some really funny dreams people are having, you know. So I feel like at this point, what we need to do is sieve out what we're hearing from the media, be it news, be it social media platforms. We need to be careful what we're taking in, because there isn't actually 100%.
Okay. Now to you, Pastor Uche. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Over the last 2 weeks, we received so many messages from different set of religious leaders. And everybody kept talking about, they are talking about about the end of the world. That coronavirus, we are having the problems of coronavirus, COVID-19 as a result of the end of the world, that it has been written in the Bible. Do you think coronavirus has anything to do with what has been written in the Bible? Because before you say anything, I quickly want to bring you back to the previous situations. We have had different situations like this years back. If I could recall, I think in the early 90s, in the early 19th century, there was something like this. In the 18th century also, we had things like this as well. So why are people now trying to create unnecessary fear into people's hearts because of this situation? And do you also agree that coronavirus has something to do with the end of the world?
Well, I will start first of all by saying that by training, I was trained to, inform, to educate people, and but some of the kind of journalism we are seeing these days are junk. That is the first thing I will tell you. I should be practicing journalism, but there's some that we are seeing these days are not. They're strange. Well, talking about from the Christian point of view, and from when I mean Christian point of view, I'll be talking from the Bible. I'm like an ambassador, so I don't have my own mind. The mind I have is the mind of God, the mind of God, the word of God, from the word of God. So I can't speak my own mind. So from the Bible, you see that the end is not near. Secondly, I won't argue with anybody that says that Corona is from God, but at the same time, it's not from God. What I mean, I won't argue. It's not to say that it is true. But what's the point? A lot of people have made up their minds to say whatever. But why would God, because of the end time or because of to punish people or do what? God no longer punishes people. He said it in Genesis, after the destruction of the world during the time of Noah, that henceforth he will no longer destroy the world. Hence, whenever his wrath grows to the extent of doing something drastic, the rainbow will appear. When he sees the rainbow, he will remember his covenant, his promise, and it stops there. So Christ also let us know that we'll hear rumors of war, pestilence, plagues, nations rising against other nations. And say a lot of things will happen, but that is not the end. So talking from that side, from the side of the Bible, it is not the end. I monitored Jehovah's Witness leader stake on it. He was saying that this is the Armageddon. People should prepare now that this is it, the end of the end of the end. And I was with my own mouth, talking from my own place, telling him that is your own end and not my own end, because I don't know which Bible is reading from. You see, so it is not from God. However, our God is the God that makes everything how do we put it, that all things work out for good. Romans 8:28 is a God that will make everything, every situation work for our own good. For example, I saw our sister Ngozi post something concerning those who got leave, right of abode, the kind of leave that does not or do not permit them to enjoy any benefit from public fund. Because of this thing now, because of this corona scare, the government has allowed them to just apply and get it. You see some people that would have, if they are taking exam in presence of the invigilators and all, they will fail it. Now they will do that exam online. Why would they fail it? So a lot of funny things are happening now. You see, all things work together for good. So God did not plan it. God did not bring it, but his children will survive it. So it is another time for us to reflect. Just to reflect. It's another time for us to come back to him. Many people will argue, we walk, we do this, we don't have time to pray, to read the Bible. Well, he said, come unto me, only that labor and that heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So this is our rest. Because after this rest now, the economy has been touched, a lot of things has been touched, and I agree that the world will never be the same again. So after this rest now, everybody will walk. So what I've said in essence is, this is not the end. This is not the beginning of the end, because we even heard that Syria, in this Syria battle, the government and the rebels have ceased fire. The government and the rebels have ceased fire. Whereas Jesus said that nations will rise against nations, but now they have ceased fire. Even witches and wizards don't attack anybody anymore. I've not heard about all these things again. Ancestors don't speak again. Juju men no longer see nothing. Everything is frozen. Everything is frozen. And so, if this is the end, we'll hear wars and all that. So what I'm saying, or what I have already said, is that this is not the end at all. Number one, this is not the end. And of course, again, I wouldn't say more. By the time we get to the next round of questions, I wouldn't say more, because of the investigative nature of the course I read, we like to delve deep into the issue, and I've looked at it, and sometimes you will not be far from the so-called lots of reporting we've been seeing, and social things on the social media. Call it conspiracy theory, call it this, call it that. If you're always on NICOT page, you will see that I posted something. One of our brothers from London tried to differentiate between 5G and all that. And from the way he spoke, you see that he's an expert in telecommunications and how it operates. But then 2 other professors from University of Ibadan, they debunked it, or 3 professors, and I pasted it on NICOT. So when you look at all these things and go deep down, of course, we all have the Spirit of God. There are some you will see and say, no, there is no weight, this third-hand information, not even second-hand. But there are some you will see, and you will see it practical and say, yes, something is cooking. So because of that, I will only keep myself, to what I know, or to what I'm convinced of, but not just speaking generally. Thank you. Generally, thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Uche. Ati, we'll be coming to you now. We just quickly want to talk about the effects of this virus in the community. What can you say about the effect? What do you know? Do you think the way is we know that the effect is very, very negative, but do you think every government of the world, every leaders of the world, do you think they put in place appropriate measure to fight the coronavirus?
We know that this COVID-19 virus started in Wuhan. We know that. And we saw how difficult it was for them to actually contend with it. But whilst that was happening, people didn't really know whether it will come to them or the ways in which it will come to them. So I won't actually stay here and sit here and say, I'm going to blame any government. They didn't put this in place. Why? First of all, this is an entirely novel virus. People do not know so much about it. At the point in time, they may have thought this is the best I could have done, Maybe what they did was not good enough, but we'll also remember that this is a virus that nobody knows. Nobody has come across this exact kind of virus before. We know it looks like SARS, So to talk about the effects it has had, it has actually affected people negatively. It has affected small businesses, it has affected big businesses, it has affected even homes. We hear that there is a high cases of abuse, domestic abuse. We hear a lot of things. It has not only affected people's health, people are bereaved, people are sad, you know. It's one kind of virus that has affected every nation. It has affected all aspects of the economy. Everything is at a standstill, you know. So what I can say is I can't reach anybody now and say, I can't sit and say this government didn't do anything. They probably were late, but it's very confusing for them, you know. I think we should even actually pray for our leaders, because this seems to be beyond everybody. And that's why most governments are calling for people, you know, we just need to put our hands together. It's not just a government problem alone. So that's what I can say to you.
Let me quickly go back to Jibola.
Yeah.
What can you say to, because the problem we have at the moment is, I think majority of us, I know all of us, we are on lockdown at the moment, but to be honest with you, it hasn't really been easy. What can you say to people who are staying at home at this moment?
Well, not knowing how far this video would go, assuming it's going to go around the world, I can only but appeal to people to, if they have to, hunker down and stay in their homes. That's all. Because, like we've said, this is a novel virus. Nobody knows the A to Z of it. You know, just in the news on Wednesday, coming out of South Korea, out of 90 people that tested positive and then later tested negative, 51 have tested positive again. So they say the virus is reappearing in those people. There's been news that the virus affects those that have underlying issues. The virus destroys lungs and the muscles around the heart, leaving them vulnerable to heart attacks. People that have gone through the whole, the whole thing of the virus on CNN have talked about excruciating pain, thinking that they would die and things like that. Why am I going with all this? The only cure, and the only way around this is not to catch it. Is not to be exposed to it, not to catch it. There are a lot of people who are not showing symptoms and they're going about, spreading the thing innocently in the shops, on the streets, in the filling station, when you hold the pump, when you go in to pay with your card or with cash, when you go to the ATM machine, when you press the buttons, and then you hear of people, or you see videos of people who are deliberately, trying to spread this, like going to supermarket and spitting on food, going to cars in the night and spitting on their hands and rubbing their hands all over the door handles. People who are deliberately doing this. There are people who are like sons of perditions, who are just trying to spread it for whatever reasons. I do not know. So what I'm just saying is the only way around this, is stay safe. When they say stay safe, they want you to stay at home. Avoid unnecessary going out. Some have even said when you have to go out with face mask and wear gloves. Fine, take all necessary precautions. Wash your hands as soon as you walk back into the house. Wash fruits very well, because you don't know, maybe when they were packing it, somebody sneezed on the fruit. It's not going to show. So wash it very well with warm water, and if you can with soap too. You know, we're living in very dangerous times, extremely dangerous times. You know, and some are even saying on CNN today that maybe at the end of this, they're going to ban handshaking as a way of greeting, pecking, hugging, and all those things we took for granted. You know, so for you and I, who by the grace of God are healthy, you know, you should just try and avoid unnecessarily going out.
Thank you so much. Pastor, like Jibola mentioned while he was talking, he said they got to understand that the virus reappeared somewhere again after being cleared. And there was a report that said, one of the reports that I had, that it takes time, takes months. Even if you have had it, it can take some months before you can be completely be treated. Why do you think this is not a problem at all? And at the moment, we don't have, there's no reports of any vaccine for the virus. What do you think the solution can be?
Well, the solution for now is normal hygiene. We wash our hands. We social distancing. We just take every necessary precaution as advised by the health experts. But the truth is that we cannot be too careful. Can you wear a mask in your mouth to eat? Can you sleep with a mask? Can you? No. Because they were even talking about yesterday. Early this morning I monitored the news, Sky News. They were saying that social distancing may last for another 1 year. I want us to wake up. The reality is that yes, there is a coronavirus. Anyone saying that there is no coronavirus, the person needs Rosebery Park. The person needs to visit Rosebery Park. There is coronavirus, but the question is, we have seen SARS, we have seen Ebola. Nobody drops on the street. People don't just drop like that. Why this new strain? And that goes back to why I told you that this thing is not spiritual. It's not from God. It's not spiritual. That is why God has refused to say anything to any prophet, because it's not spiritual. So what I'm trying to say is, for now, the one thing I want us to have at the back of our mind is, we've heard the tens of thousands of all the thousands dying all over the world and in America. Which president in his right mind? Which president in his right mind will see all these people dying and not do anything? So, and we have World Health Organization, who before now, even if China did not let other countries know, WHO should have known. They should have been prepared. What about the drug companies? So what I just want us to think, I don't want us to think one way. I want us to think very wide. There is really, I believe there is something that we don't know about, but some people do know about it. And so that is why the only thing we should do now is follow the instructions we are being given and see where it takes us. But I seriously think that all this is about the vaccine that has been, that the vaccine, whatever is ready, we are just playing. Sorry about that. Recently, we started seeing recently we started seeing stories about the past when some wealthy people, were talking about vaccines and viruses and all that and all that. So I want to agree with Pastor Chris Oyakilome. I want to agree with Benny Hinn. I want to agree with some other men of God that have really tackled these things professionally, technically, scientifically. They have proven it. They have linked it together, and even scientifically, we have looked at these things. So I believe that the vaccine is ready. I believe. No president is recently we started seeing the faces of the people that died. Recently, all the millions of people, you will just see few. All these millions, if they begin to show us, let's say some families say you don't need them, they want to be alone, they don't need any publication or publicity. But it won't be all. Can it contain 20 or 50 pages of newspaper? No way. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of this news we're even hearing about 20,000 just died yesterday. It's neither here or there. That is my personal take. Is there coronavirus? Yes. Are we doing, are the governments, were they taken unawares? Well, if we put the puzzles together, we see that nobody was taken unawares. Nobody. They have counted the pros and cons, the damages it will cause and all that, but well, the gain outweighs the loss. So let's go for it. As many that their health can carry it, fine. As many that they cannot. I'm sorry if you may say, why is Pastor talking like this? There is, I believe now that there's a lot of things. The head of one of the head of is it the intelligence unit of CIA was speaking early this morning as well, and he said what I think he's a Christian. He spoke a lot about what he knew as well. So I think the virus is doing its work. The work is to bring fear, and the fear will end in the vaccines, which I think that it is ready. So that is what I want to say. I think the vaccine is ready. I think we are just waiting for time, doing what they asked us to do. And at the end, the news has told us today that in the morning, the news has it that before this September, that they will commence human testing, or that they will commence by next month.
Thank you.
So that's all I have to say for now.
Thank you. Recently, I came across some videos. One from Tupac Amaru Shakur. I believe we remember him. And this guy, he was one of the American rappers then, and he died in September 1996. But there was a video that went around recently about him talking about coronavirus. And he died in 1996. Definitely that video was shot before 1996. And in 2015, I came about another video about from Bill Gates, talking about
that's right,
how the world leaders, how they are not ready for the next for this situation. Ati, do you think this coronavirus of a thing, do you think it's political?
There are lots of people saying it's political, but do we actually have the proof that it is political?
Because from what we have seen so far, it's like it's been pre-planned before now. Yeah, this coronavirus is not a mistake.
No.
Well, you can't say it's not a mistake because you do not know for sure.
All right.
It's not been proven that it's something that it's just escaped from some kind of preparations that they were carrying on in the lab, Some people said it came from the meat farm, the animal farm. We don't know these theories. They just say it. One school of thought have one thing to say, another school of thought has another thing to say. So I think to some extent, not all, I do agree to some extent with what Pastor Oche said when he said the best thing we can do is to try and protect ourselves as much as we can. Because if somebody comes to me and asks me, are you really sure that this is just something that is political? Everything has been set. They already have the vaccines. You know, they want to exploit this situation to make money or something or power. I don't know. I hear these things. It disturbs me as well in a very negative way, you know, because everything now is on standstill. Nobody is completely comfortable. Nobody knows anything. We just like that. But I can't say I have complete knowledge of everything to come here and say, of course, it is political. Of course, they want to exploit the situation. Of course, it was pre-planned, you know, years ago. All I can do, is to try and protect myself, and in doing so, protect other people as well. Because these are all maybe in a few months, in a few years to come, all these things will come to limelight. We will know of the truth, what is happening, you know. But for now, nobody knows. There's one news I listened to, and Chinese government, or I don't know if it's Chinese government, but they were accusing US of this virus. And then you also hear Trump said that it's a Chinese virus. So there's so many that, yeah, so many that are going on. So the best thing is, you know, look after yourself. And another thing again, when we talk about the preparation that the government put in place, you had what Jimbala said, that it's before now, they thought it was just one variant, but now it's different. Remember, they told us we didn't need any face mask, you know, the face masks are just for frontliners, you know. But now they are saying that it's airborne, it can carry the droplets if the next person who has contracted it is very close to you. So these things keep changing, they keep changing. So all you can do is protect yourself as much as you can, and don't join in giving news that you don't have, you know, the remotest idea about. Maybe just listen, take one or two things from it, learn from it, and you know, just keep listening. But you just can't talk anyhow because we do not know yet. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Ngozi, do you? All right, thank you. Ngozi, do you have anything contrary to what Ati said?
Thank you.
That if this virus is political or not, do you have anything? She said she doesn't believe that it's political, but from the look of things and from what we have seen, from those facts, do you think is?
Sorry, I didn't. It might be, it might not.
That is exactly, I understand. That's what I'm saying. I understand. That's what I'm saying. To Ngozi, do you also believe that this thing is not political? Ngozi?
Well, like...
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, like Ati rightly said, we don't know if it is or if it is not. Right now, there's so many information out there in the news, in the media. People are coming up with their own cure for the coronavirus and different ways that you can avoid the virus. I just feel like I said previously, we do not have 100% information. And you know what they say about information? Information is key. We do not have 100% information on where the virus is from, which country it originated. People are saying it started in Wuhan. It started in Wuhan. But then you have other people saying that some of them have experienced some of the symptoms of the coronavirus way before they start talking about it. And people are saying way back as at October, November, December, you know? So the truth of the matter is we do not really know what aspect of the, we can't say if it's political, we can't say if it's scientific. Let's just do what we have to do to keep ourselves safe for the now. When all this is over, the information will come out and we would get to educate ourselves better. That's all I have to say.
That's all I have to say.
Pastor Uche.
Yes, please.
People were talking about, some people said it's not coronavirus problem, that it is the 5G. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they said the problem has to do with 5G that just been rolled out recently, and that is why we are having all of these problems. And that some people said it's not corona, it's not this and that. What do you say to this?
In the multitude of controversies, when you delve deeper into it, you will see some elements of truth. We cannot just say that we don't have information. Our time is this time we live in is information age. The question is, it's like a jury in the court. They bring a case before the jury. The plaintiff and the defendants all will bring their representatives, and they will be cross-examined, and they will bring their evidences, get experts report, and the jury will retire to do what? Individually evaluate and come up with a verdict. So they are not there when it happened. They don't know much about it, but from what they gather. So the World Wide Web is there for us to make our research. There are some things you'll be looking at as a novice in that area, and 1 second you say no, you just throw it out. It's like a teacher marking examination, and you have exam sheets and you have your marking scheme, and you see somebody talking rubbish. What do? You just throw it out. So there are some information we just come across. We know that this is not it. But there are some that, first of all, who is bringing it? How credible is this person? Now, you will see clips, video clips of places where they turned it on. You will see every tree around there dry. You see the grass there. I go to work 1:30 every night. 1:30 I leave. I have, not until this morning, when I played a part of the video, I don't know how many of us that saw it, when a lady in London was interrogating some East European workers laying fiber optic cables underground. And she accosted them and said, do you work for the NHS? They said no. So why you are not a key worker? What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be out. What is it they do? They say they are laying fiber optics. She said, is that not 5G? He said, yes. Do you know the implication of what you're doing? The guy said, no. Who told you to do it? Oh, it's our boss. Who is your boss? Okay, I can give you the number who you speak to. She now started asking them, do you know the implication of what you're doing and all that? And that was the end of the video. That now made me to recalculate that there is this particular junction. I meet this man on they cordoned off some parts of the road. Only one man with a BT van all the time for the past 1 week as I go to work. You see him there. There is this hole, this thing they open from the ground. They just open it, pull it up, and you can go on. He's just walking there alone. So whether there are others on there, I don't know. But I just see this guy alone. So I began to think. So the truth is, there is reasonable grounds for me to agree that why we be guests. I didn't want to call him the first time. Why will somebody like that? Before then, he went round. Recently he went round, with his foundation, the name of his foundation, giving money to some countries. He even got to Nigeria and all that. And he talked about the vaccines and the virus, that they are not ready. Now, the question is, why is it that every case we have in Africa are all imported? Why is it? The NCC, Nigerian Communication Council, have come out to say that we don't have 5G yet. They are not saying that it is responsible or not, but they are saying we don't have it yet. And I take that as the answer why all are imported cases. Our people or foreigners who travel back, that is how it entered, and not originating from the place. So we have to look at these things as well. So like I said, we mustn't, By the time you wait until you may see yourself inside it. When you Google Sweden now have been living smart for a while. Sweden, they have that when they want to vaccinate you or like they want to draw blood, that kind of, the same way, they'll just put the chip inside, just as a quick scratch, and they get it up. You see it from the top of your flesh there. So Sweden have been living like that, and that's what the vaccination will carry. So we know all these things from investigation. When we investigate, by the time you look at a news, 10 different pieces of news, and you see that 7 or 6 tally, no difference from experts in their field, drawing conclusion, showing you experiments and everything. You have no choice saying that, yes, this is. So I strongly believe that there is there is, how do you call it? There is a link between the 5G, the corona, and the vaccine. The corona is there not to kill everybody. I believe the corona is this one you recover from. But the effect of the 5G, that is what gives people respiratory. And beforehand, they have already said the vulnerable people are those who have underlying ailments, the aged, the this, the that. These are the people that cannot stand the wave. Immediately you see them drop. And the other one now, the corona is the one that you can recover from. I'm not saying, I'm not an expert, but what we've seen so far is that some people, when they get to hospital, they don't even last. Some people, they just, so the whole thing is make fear. People, we know that there is corona, there is fear. You accept the vaccine, and it works with the 5G. It's as simple as that. I don't know how many of us have complained. The internet here in the church, when you are down, you don't get it. That's why I got a mobile Wi-Fi. And now when you go into fiber optics, you see that 4G is not strong enough to penetrate walls and, everywhere. That is the 4G we are using now. So you need more serious thing like 5G. And this 5G is not new. Military people have been using it, for long. And in some hospitals, I understand some X-ray machines, not all, have been using it to see through. And the question is it not all about control? The time is coming that we no longer need our international passports, and you no longer need to say your name. They know you already. So the question is, who controls this information? So that's why I think that there is a link. So we should, dig deep more, and maybe in our next episode, let's go and investigate more, and we will be informed, because the information, no information will come out and tell you now, oh, this thing is true. No government will tell you that. Nobody will tell you that. They all want that fast internet, that whatever. But when we investigate, we've never seen any government at any time tell anybody this is truly what we do. No way. They will not. Nobody will own up to that. But at the end of the day, you now see it happening. So let's be, well informed. Let's dig deep, and we will see the link between all these things. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Jibola.
Yeah.
4G on fiber is very, very, very fast. And not to talk of 5G, what 5G can do. And we have seen so many videos where people are really rejecting 5G. And we have even watched some videos where people were even destroying the mast. And most people kept complaining that 5G is evil. But do you think 5G shouldn't be accepted? Or do you think it has come to stay, and we should accept it?
Let's ask ourselves some good questions. Pastor has raised some pointers. How many countries in the world are actually using 5G? The UK has not rolled out 5G. They were going to give contracts out, but now I heard that the contracts have been held back because of America's issue with China. America doesn't have 5G rolled out. They don't. They use 4G.
Yes.
It's China that has 5G.
They have highest rate of death at the moment.
And yet they have highest rate of death. So for me, the correlation between 5G and the corona or COVID-19 and deaths, the number of deaths, has not been properly investigated. Let's put that aside. If you go to Africa, how many countries have 4G in Africa?
Okay.
In Nigeria, the highest we have is 4G because we were migrating from 3G to 4G. You know, you saw on the internet, somebody was going about saying that they are digging holes for 5G. When the NCC has not even awarded the contract, they've not given the spectrum out. So how can the MTN or Globalcom or whatever be digging hole for 5G? What if they don't give them the contract? What if they don't award it to them? Maybe they are being proactive, that maybe it will come. But it hasn't been awarded yet. The pastor of Believers World during the week had a sit down with some people and castigated 5G, demonized 5G and everything. But today he's singing a new song. He's saying that he cannot wait to use the 5G. That is going to, that as a scientist is going to jump on it, is going to use it. You know, and yet people are dying. But look at the numbers. In Africa, you have low numbers, there are no 5G. In America, they don't have 5G, they have high numbers. In China, well, we cannot say China has given us the actual data of total number of people that died. But going by their figures, 360 something, 3,600 people compared to almost 20,000 of America as of today, it doesn't correlate. As to whether 5G has come to stay or not, Donald Trump is the leader of the free world. When I mean the free world, the Western world. And he is pushing for 5G. But the only problem Donald Trump has is the fact that China is light years ahead of them. China has 5G. They're the only country in the world that has developed 5G. I was watching a documentary. They are already working on 6G. As we speak, they're already working on 6G. What is the speed of 5G? 5G, you download a 2-hour, 3-hour movie in 3 seconds. 4G will take you about 20, 25 seconds. 5G will link your TV, your light, your radio, everything in the house to your phone. But also 4G does it. Globalcom is advertising it on CNN. If you are able to use the application, it does it. Okay. So America know that they are behind. So they are now, ITT is now advertising on their phones, they are saying 5G, but actually they call it 4G plus. It's not 5G, but they call it 4G plus, because the problem is whoever has 5G and whoever lays 5G makes all the money. Because if you control all the masts and people want faster speed on their downloads, uploads, downloads, they want faster speed, then you can control and you can dictate how much you want to give it out to people, both homes and businesses. Fine, it enhances applications and all that, but then it erodes privacy completely. Because I can stay in my house with a powerful computer and I can hack into someone's car, start the car using a 5G network and drive the car away. Because everything is going to be interconnected, from your tap to your doors to everything. Just anything that can be connected will be connected. And that's where Pastor is saying things about privacy and then control, and then we're going down the route of one world system and all the other things. I won't go into that. I'll leave that for Pastor to talk about. So the other part of the question is, has it come to stay or not? 3 things here. Number 1, the political elite have accepted that the world needs 5G. And the political elite are the ones that make decisions of what we're going to do next. The businessmen have jumped on the bandwagon and seen the kitchen, the money they can make out of the 5G. And they are saying they are ready to pour in investment. because it's huge, it's massive. If you don't want to be left behind technologically, your laptop, your washing machine, your lights in the house, your stove, your gas, your electric cooker, whatever, your car would have to be somewhere linked into the 5G network. So to answer your question, going forward, yes, 5G has come to stay. Whether we accept it or not is a different kettle of fish. As to people destroying masts, people destroying the 5G mast, saying that they are scared and everything, there is no, for me, I agree that there is a clear and present danger. But again, I've not seen a clear-cut research and investigation as to the danger of 5G. I know in all these things, there's electromagnetic fields around. And all this started from when we started using radar on the Earth. And we have these electromagnetic fields which cause global warming, which results in so many things. And like you mentioned, the first in the century, in 1918, when we had the first pandemic, it was when they introduced radar into flight. And they came back from the First World War in Pennsylvania and Detroit, and they told them not to gather. And people of Detroit said no, that they are going to do parade. And about 500 soldiers that came from the World War. And the next thing, within 2 weeks, over 7,000 people died of a plague. I don't know what was the pandemic in that time, 1918, but it's an history. 1920, I beg your pardon, 1920. So these things, as to the mast, that's the way I feel. Yeah, people might destroy the mast, but nobody knows until a specific scientific independent investigation, not cowboy investigators with Amazon devices, Amazon purchase devices, go and be looking for radiation or electromagnetic count and trying to say, okay, this is dangerous, that's not dangerous. Of course, there have been stories about trees drying up, birds falling from the sky, weird things happening. I'm not a scientist, so I don't have an answer to that. But the only thing I want us to think clearly,
thank you,
evenly, just let me just round up, is countries with 5G, how many of them? What is the number of deaths? I mean, correlating with coronavirus and COVID. In Nigeria, we don't have 5G. We still have some deaths. In the UK, we don't have 5G. We're almost 10,000 total deaths. You know, and so-called Wuhan have less than 4,000 deaths. It doesn't add up. Something is not adding up somewhere. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Because of our time, I will quickly say in 30 seconds, Ngozi, can you quickly share with us how you've been coping? This is the 3rd week of lockdown. How have you been coping? In 30 seconds, please.
Having a barbecue.
by herself. Can you imagine?
She's coping well.
Well, like Jubala said, I am coping very well. I think the first week was very difficult. It was a shift from my norm. I'm used to going to work. I'm used to keeping busy. You know, the people that I feel most for are the children, because this is completely alien to the life they've always lived, you know, seeing their friends, meeting their uncles and aunties, going to the shops, you know. And I sometimes look at, obviously, my own child and I say, what effect is this going to have on her? But aside from that, after the second week, we kind of like, you know, understood that it wasn't going to change. And then the third week, we have accepted it. It's like, you know when they talk about the stages of grief, you first of all are in denial, and then at some point you start accepting it, and saying, okay, this has happened and nothing is going to change it. So I'm at that point now where I'm coping, I'm just coping.
Thank you.
And following
you.
the social distancing rules.
So, Auntie,
You're welcome.
we still have about, we've been told that probably this might go on till the end of this month. So, what's the plan? How do you think you can cope?
Well, what can you do? Just remember, one of my coping mechanisms is if I flout the rule and then I infect somebody else or get infected, what do I do? So just understand that it's a way of saving lives. It's a way to protect yourself and to protect others. What would you give for that? So when you do that, you will know that it's best to stay at home. I think you will pick the option of staying at home. And for me, I just get myself busy, try to do things at home, try to go on Zoom, video, call people, just chat, check on people. What else can I do? Nothing else. Try different recipes. Just do something. Just
thank you, Auntie.
That's it.
Thank you. Pastor Uche, how have you been coping? It's 3 weeks already, and probably we don't know. We must see, though we've been told it's till the end of the month, but we never can say. It could extend till some months. But how have you been coping, and what do you think you can do again to be able to survive for the next weeks that we still have ahead of us? So, Jimola, how have you been coping as well?
It wasn't easy. I can't lie. So what I've done is I've tried to bring work home. So these days I've been working from home. So I've buried myself with work. Try to exercise when I can. Try to relax when I can. Basically, I've tried to take work home. So that's what I do. And like Pastor said, God has been the one sustaining us. So all glory to God.
All right. Thank you. Hallelujah. And that is it for today's episode. And I hope we have been able to get one or two information to be able to know what you need to do regarding the situation. But before we go, can we put our hands together for the key workers until next week we come your way? Please, everyone, please let us appreciate our key workers for saving lives. Thank you all for being part of this discussion today.
Just before we go, just before we go, tell Ngozi to put the barbecue in DHL and send to us.
Please, I am interested too. Ngozi, I hope you've had that.
No worries.
Okay.
I'm interested.
All right. Have a lovely day. God bless.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.